Football things we got to talk about.
Dying over here.
First, Jacoby Myers, first free agent wide receiver off the board this morning. $33 million, $21 guaranteed to the Vegas Raiders. That is now the tone setter for the free agency wide receiver market.
Right.
Do you think that helps or hurts the Browns in their pursuit of a veteran receiver in free agency?
Love it. I love it.
I don't want any of the free agents.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah.
There's, I mean, maybe Paris Campbell if you can get him at a decent number. I mean, I normally don't have that Ohio State bias of guys that just because they went there, I want him on the team. But he is a speed guy. I do think there's something there. He's had a lot of injuries.
Would get more than that. I mean, he was pretty good last year.
There's no free agent receivers that I look at and go, okay, that's the guy you got to go get.
There's no guy who's a sure thing at that position in free agency.
That's why I just think their first pick in the draft is going to be a receiver.
I don't know. I still
it
want
could be now. I wanted them to go defensive tackle before, but now maybe they've shored up that part of the defensive line to the point where you could be right. And maybe that's why they decided you can come at this from three different angles: trade, free agency, draft.
Yeah.
Maybe they powwowed and said it's best that we fill our needs on the defensive line through the draft or through the free agency because there's proven stars that are there that we can go get. Let's roll the dice on wide receiver in the draft.
Yeah.
And maybe you try to get a safety or maybe another linebacker.
And defensive tackles just take longer to develop.
They do, which is why the draft isn't the right way to go, perhaps, for that position.
Yeah.
Particularly when you look at how poorly they've done with guys that they've drafted recently. But you know what? They haven't done well with wide receivers either.
No, they haven't.
I mean, I know Peoples-Jones was a hit.
Was the sixth.
Late.
Yeah.
But your 2 3s in Bell and Schwartz, right now, if I had to put them into a camp, they're in the bust camp.
Yeah.
Well,
And
Schwartz is 100%.
is more in the bust
Bell,
camp.
I'm giving another year.
Bell
I'm not
needs
gonna,
more time.
Call Bell a bust, but again,
Schwartz is. I mean, he should be cut.
If you're looking at second-round receivers versus third-round receivers, I think there's a pretty significant difference between the two. George Pickens was a second-round receiver.
Yeah.
David Bell was a third-round receiver.
I'm looking for. I think it's coming with a trade. The receiver's coming in a trade to me, because I look at the wide receiver. If they get a minimal free agent, that guy could be a fourth, almost a third type guy. Great. But I think the trade is coming for a bona fide receiver that they could really build around and help.
Who do you want?
Listen, I'll take
Brandon Cooks?
I'll take Cooks. I still will take DeAndre Hopkins if it come down to it. I'm not opposed to that.
Hunter Renfrow?
Hunter Renfrow I like Paris Campbell. I even like McCole Hardman. I'll take him too because at least he.
Well, those guys are free agents.
So,
Campbell and Hardman.
But given the fact that you might, if they're giving this amount of money out, this little change right here, you can get McCole Hardman and Renfrow for what? I mean,
$10 million combined.
Like you get
hope.
that.
I like Hardman more than Renfrow. I think the only thing that makes me nervous is because he didn't put up huge numbers with Kansas City. But, like, he feels like he's got upside. I feel like Renfrow just kind of is what he is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Renfrow is one of them dudes. I've always been trying to get me a Wes Welker. I need me one of those guys.
Every white receiver is compared to Wes Welker.
I need him and Cole Beasley.
Just go back to Brian Brennan.
Yeah, like
people in Cleveland remember Brian Brennan.
Listen. By the way, if he come to Cleveland, people will be telling you Hunter Renfrow is the best receiver they got.
Because they remember Brian Brennan.
I tell you, G. Bush, he's the best receiver. He's always open. No, he's really not always open. I like he catch the ball on third down, but I think that trade is coming.
All right. Well, I hope so. I hope something's coming that way.
By the way,
real quick, we got some breaking news here. You see the Lamar Jackson tweets?
I was just going to read that.
You could read it. I'll get it in tag board here.
All right. So Lamar. So apparently Adam Schefter said that it's not somebody saying that Schefter said that Lamar turned down $200 million guaranteed. I don't know that Schefter said it, but somebody's tweeted that Schefter said that. I don't know.
I haven't seen Schefter say that.
Yeah, but not necessarily today, that he might have said it on TV.
Oh.
Anyway, somebody tweeted that out, and then Lamar Jackson tweeted this.
We'll get it.
That's it.
That's
And then Lamar Jackson said, 133 for 3 years fully guaranteed, but I need an agent.
Interesting.
What does that mean?
Well, that means that was what he was offered.
No, who got 100? Who got 133 guaranteed?
No, that's must be what he was offered.
I thought somebody else got that, and he was saying, "So I need an agent." This guy got that.
The way
I think he's saying that was what he was offered.
I agree with Jay. I think that he said it weird, but I think that's what he was saying.
I think that's what he's saying. Which, by the way, if you do that on a per year, is $45 million.
Right, but yes, but if you're Lamar, like I can understand him not wanting to sign a 3-year deal.
They only offer him 3.
Yeah. Although, if it's all guaranteed, he'd probably make a lot of money after that if he plays well.
You know what? I think that might be the ballpark that he's looking in. Yesterday, Brad was asked this question, Jason. I'll pose it to you. Okay? Isn't that how you read that? 133, 3 years fully guaranteed, but I need an agent? That to me sounds like news is coming soon that he signed with the Ravens for $133 million over 3 years.
Oh, you see, I thought you were saying that's what he turned down.
No, I think
he's saying this is all they offer me. I don't need an agent. This is so laughable.
I'm with Bull. I think he was offered 133 for 3, turned it down, but saying, "Look, I can do this on my own. That's what they already offered me. I want more."
I don't know how to read that.
I don't know how to read it because I kind of lean toward Jay.
Yeah, to me, it sounds like he's boasting, saying, "For all you fools that said I need an agent, but I'm sitting on an offer right now for 3 years, $45 million a year, guaranteed."
If there's 2 ways to look at it. If he doesn't like that offer and he's putting that out there, that's not going to make the Ravens very happy.
No, that's going to infuriate the
That he's
Ravens.
negotiating publicly.
Yeah, and that's why you do need an agent.
If that's what they've agreed to. Now, the Yankees did that with Aaron Judge. They leaked what the number was, and it worked out. He still got him back. But I would say that's almost the anomaly. Once you start negotiating publicly, it rarely ends well.
I don't think
it worked out with Judge and the Yankees because he wanted to stay there.
Yeah.
I don't know that Lamar wants to stay there.
I've said it before on the show. I think Lamar's played his last snap for Baltimore.
Jason drug me along. I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna get in the car with you, bro, because
let's hope
it's
so."
looking bad.
I would love to see him leave the division.
Right now.
If he leaves the division, I think Cleveland comes in next season as a clear-cut number 2 in the division.
We need. Listen,
is that hyperbole?
No, I don't think so.
I need
again until I see Deshaun Watson play well. I don't know that I can definitively say that.
But I mean,
I would, yes. If you told me Lamar's not on the Ravens and I had to pick standings today, I would pick the Browns.
I'd pick the Browns second.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, look, man, I'm not above wishing bad things on other teams. It is what it is.
As long as it's not injury.
Look, what you mean? Tendonitis?
Come on, bro. You felt the pain of that ACL.
I don't want the ACL. I just want tendonitis. I just want the hammy.
The hammy come off the bone.
No, not come off the bone. It's a half. It's a half honey baked ham.
All right. I always bet. I've caught myself saying that I've been thinking I wish that player would get hurt. I was like, no, man.
I don't wish no concussions or ACLs or Achilles heels. I done had those or neck and spinal cord injuries, but. There's a couple of things that are elbow bursitis. That's definitely on the table.
If you got to get your wrist going in the wrong direction, that's okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
A strained pec muscles. You don't do nothing up in here in anyway. You need. Listen, I'm all for that. I'm all for that smoke.
Another tweet from Lamar: people throw with a poop emoji at the wall and hope it stick.
So I guess I still don't know whether.
I don't know.
Can somebody tweet at him?
I think he's saying I was never offered over $200 million guaranteed.
Yeah, so that's a reference to Schefter.
And he's not. I think he's saying he was offered 130 guaranteed. He thinks that's a joke. Whether he doesn't need an agent to know that's a joke.
I can see why the Ravens would want to do that deal, and here's why. The question mark with Lamar is long-term sustainability.
Right.
And
his next 3 years may be his last good 3 years.
More than likely, with a player that relies on the skill set that he has, that starts to go away really quickly at 30.
Would you do this deal? I tell you, Lamar, if they give you 3 years, 150, roll out. Take it and roll out, bro.
First of all, what's the difference?
Three 150. Because 3 for 150 means he's getting $50 million a year, which could put him.
But 3 at 133 is $45 million a year. Here's my question to these guys: at what point does that extra $5 million a year buy anything for you?
It's not. It's not the $5 million a year. I think that money per year is probably what he'd be comfortable with. I think he wants a 5-6 year deal.
Okay, then if that's the case,
I wouldn't give him
that's the case,
personally, but
I wouldn't either.
I don't blame him for wanting it.
I wouldn't either. But if that's the case, say, okay, I'll take 4 for 150, and now you get that extra guaranteed year. You're getting a little bit more in the total package deal because it's all going to be guaranteed. Like,
but
he's caught up in the $230 that the Browns gave Watson.
And even the Kyler Murray deal.
The Kyler Murray, well, but a lot of that wasn't guaranteed. He had 160 guaranteed.
That's still more than Lamar's getting. And Lamar's better than Kyler Murray.
It's comparable. If you could come out of there saying, okay, I got 3 years. I'm going to bet on myself. I'm going to do the LeBron thing. I got 3 years.
Yeah.
If he plays well and they go far in those 3 years, or at least 2 out of the 3 years, he's going to be able to come back up again and then get like $60 million.
Will he, though, at 30?
If he plays well, he's like.
I don't even think he's that old.
No, he's 26
now. So he can hit the market again at 29 and be up again. And that's the Darrelle Revis. Darrelle Revis got 3 big-time contracts, right? No one makes it to a 3rd contract, especially if it's multiple years. I would aim for the 3 at 50, and then I want to come back, and I want 2 at 60 after this.
Lamar just turned 26 a few weeks ago.
Oh, he young.
So, well, when his next contract's up,
he'd play at 26, 27, and 28.
Yeah, so arguing, if you're going to bet on yourself and go 3, now you're 29.
You're going into your age 29 season.
And you've got to stay healthy.
You got to be healthy.
But they could, in theory, franchise him again at that point.
Listen, if they offered you, don't look at it Deshaun Watson, right? He's looking at it, listen, if I was your agent, take that money right now. Actually, like Jay said, it might be the fact that you feeling like you slighted because you feel like you're better than these other people, and I get it, right? I understand. But listen, man, what you gonna do? 50? Like if you get 150, you ain't gotta buy. You ain't worry about nothing. That's generational. How much more can you buy with that?
Multi-generational.
Yeah. How much more you like? How much more shoes or purses or houses can you buy with that?
At the end of the day, there's very little that you can't buy with $45 million a year that you can buy with $50 million a year.
Right.
And the other thing too is, we saw what Tom Brady did over the length of his career when he was never the highest paid player on his team. Mm-hmm. What that allowed his teams to do was bring in more talent around him. And I think that's what Joe Burrow is going to do in Cincinnati. I think Joe Burrow is a smart guy, and he's in this for the long play.
But the Bengals is hedging their back. They ain't going to do no workman's comp, though.
Yeah, no, that's a whole
y'all
other
ain't getting
issue.
none of that off because Joe might want $600, and we going to give him every penny that $6.
I don't know. I sometimes think that, it does suck.
Yeah.
That, especially if the market for what would really kill me is the Kyler Murray deal.
Yeah.
Right.
Come on, you have to at least give me. But you know what? Arizona and the Browns just threw off the pay scale so badly.
The more I think about it, I think you're right. He's not taking 3 for 133 because all the talk at the combine was there is no negotiating going on. He's not coming off the number that was thrown around in Indianapolis was 5 for 250, and he's not coming off that, fully guaranteed. And there's not even a negotiation. So, and I think I mentioned that on the show.
I never heard that number, Jason.
Oh, that's what was going around in Indianapolis. Was
5 for 250.
5 for 250.
I mean, you hamstring your club.
And he's not.
Good luck wherever he gets that deal. You hamstring your club.
But are the Browns hamstrung by Watson's contract?
Well, the Browns would have been. They restructured, and what was his number supposed to be before the restructuring this year?
55.
I know.
Okay, so his fixed number would be 50 per.
I know, but they could do the same gymnastics that other teams
add voidable years onto the end. The same thing the Browns are doing now.
The Chiefs are not screwed. Patrick Mahomes is making that kind of money. I think that's. I don't think you have to take less money. Tom Brady was still the highest paid Patriot.
I don't know that he ever was.
So, Bull,
at one point,
I think it was that he was never the highest paid quarterback. I think that's what it was.
I don't know who else would have been paid higher than him in New England.
Yeah, I mean, quarterbacks get paid the most.
Yeah, he definitely was never the highest paid
I think the stat that always went around was that he was never the highest paid quarterback.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
I mean, could you give? I'm trying to think of it. Like, you go back a couple years? Could I give Michael Vick 5 for 250?
He's way better than Michael Vick, though.
But what I'm saying is the running aspect.
It's hard to sustain that 5 years from now.
Doing that.
I mean, let's face it. The style of football he plays, he's one hit away from never being the same guy again. Ask RG3.
RG3.
Yeah.
And I just don't know that you can. You're betting on a dragster instead of a Grand Prix style.
I hear
car.
you, but he's not. A lot of quarterbacks run. Josh Allen runs a ton too.
Josh Allen's built differently.
He's a tank.
He's a big, strong guy.
Fair.
He hits most tacklers.
I changed the way I looked at these quarterbacks and injuries when Andrew Luck woke up one day and said, "I can't do it no more." and Andrew Luck was built like a thoroughbred. He's 6'5", 240.
He's a big dude.
Huge dude. He said, my body hurt. I can't do it no more. When Megatron retired, Megatron would talk about what he had to do just to be able to get back
Barry
out
Sanders
to play.
retired young.
They said, I can't do it no more. Somebody said, you got any snap stuff in you? No, I don't touch me. I don't want nobody touching me. I'm suing you. I'm suing you. Don't push me. Don't look at me too hard. That stuff is hard on your body, man. It's rough, man.
And that style is, it's really, really tough to sustain. And we've seen that play itself out over the last couple of years.
5 for 250.
He's missed more games the last couple of years than he did early in his career. I don't know, man. It's a risky play. I understand that he feels that he's worth more, but if the market says he's not, he's not.
Well, it's not really an open market.
Well, it could be. If someone was willing to pay it, it would be.
That's actually where a good agent can sit a guy down and have an honest conversation about reality of where things are. Now, maybe player doesn't want to listen to him.
Right.
But a good agent won't just be a mouthpiece and tell you what you want to hear.
Right. He's going to tell you, look, here's what the market is.
He's going to tell you,
Trevor Bauer's agent sat him down and said, the well's dry here.
Yeah.
You've got one play, Japan.
Yeah.
And maybe Trevor without an agent never comes to that. I don't know. It's very difficult. I feel badly for Lamar. I do. As a Browns fan, I hope he works his way out of the division and ends up somewhere else next year.
I'm fascinated to see how this ends.
It's the drama of the offseason, isn't it?
And
Aaron Rodgers?
Have we ever had a story like this in the NFL with Lamar and the Ravens? I don't recall one.
You mean this contentious situation?
This contentious at this position.
Well, with
this
the
amount
public,
of money at
with
stake.
the public tweeting too, to your point, if their offer was 3 for 133, the Ravens now are going to walk away from this. I don't think they want him in their organization if he's going to go that route.
Well, you still have to be a smart businessman, and if he does get an offer from another team that you are willing to match, you still match it. I think. I don't know. I just feel it feels like this. When I left Indianapolis, it felt like this has turned very, very personal in Baltimore, and I don't think he plays another snap there. I don't know how it ends.
I think
but
the Ravens are a 5-6 win team next year without him.
What you got, McNuggets?
We will see. I got the race report for Colleague Racing, by the way.
Okay.
Shout out to Earl for coming up with this. In Phoenix, A.J. Allmendinger started 22nd. He finished 20th, so he did move up the rankings a bit. Justin Haley started 26th. He finished 27th. Neither led a lap, and William Byron won the race at the end of the day. So a solid showing from Colleague Racing and our guys, but
what's next
no
for the crew? Do we know where they go from Phoenix?
A circular track.
Oh,
That's
it is
where
for
they're
sure a
going next.
circular track?
No, but they're going to hit the gas pedal and they're going to turn left and right and they're going to drive around.
It could be a road style course.
It
right,
could be
Earl?
anywhere, but they're going to drive. I don't know on that. But I do got one more question before Earl knows. Hold on.
They're going to drive.
Atlanta next Sunday,
So
3 p.m.
That's a super speedway, right?
Atlanta, yeah.
Yes,
That's
a
a big
circular
one.
track. Don't doubt my NASCAR knowledge, Jay. One last question for you guys
NASCAR
here
knowledge is deep.
on the Browns free agency here. It is day 2. We talked about some receivers. We all talked about defensive tackles, how they want to shore up that line. Safety, though, with Jesse Bates gone, got $16 million. We all agreed probably a little too pricey. How would you feel about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson being still in play for the Browns on day 2 here?
He's going to make $12 million. The Browns can't spend double-digit millions on a safety. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't see how they do it.
And by the way, if I'm going to spend $12 million on Chauncey, whatever the hell his name is, I'll go spend $16 million on Jesse Bates, who's one of the best safeties in the league. So
If I'm going to pay him 12, I'll just keep John Johnson for 12.
I mean, the Browns need to shop in the bargain bin for safety.
No. The Browns need to use somebody they already got at safety.
Or whatever.
Or draft one.
I'm not spending $12 million.
You knew we was bad when your safeties, Delpit and John Johnson, were your leading tacklers by far. That just told you how garbage.
Everybody got into that last level.
How the free safety and the strong safety? Come on, no. Yeah, we're gonna get a guy back. D'Anthony Bell can play back there. Whatever they're gonna do back there. But I'm looking for a linebacker to come off the board here. I want to see a linebacker or another defensive tackle, and then we work back away to receiver.
Are you guys surprised at the lack of news today? This is worse than yesterday.
See these. There's a couple dominoes that have to fall. You got to get the quarterback market ready to go.
Well, it got busy yesterday afternoon and
No,
last
it
night.
did, but I'm talking
But
about.
today, again, it's been quiet.
cricket.
There's one guy we have missed. We didn't talk about Eric Kendricks going to the Chargers for $4 million. That was a guy who, when he was released by the
Yeah, I would have
Vikings,
liked that. It's a
I
real
would've
amount
liked
of
that.
we all
money.
thought would be a good fit. And for $4
How
million,
much he get?
$4 million.
These rest of these guys ain't getting no money. Like this is like a baseball all season. Sometimes in baseball, people be paying all kind of money, and I don't know why. But then sometimes they're like, no one's getting money this year.
We've talked on this show before, and I've talked to GMs about this. I know you have, Jay, where a lot of the mentality is you win in the NFL three ways. You have to have a quarterback, you have to have someone that gets after quarterbacks, and you have to have someone that protects quarterbacks. It's a quarterback-centric league. It just makes sense. A lot of the movement that we saw yesterday were guys that get after quarterbacks and guys that protect quarterbacks. And that's how teams – and it's funny because I think it's easier to have success when you make moves via trade than when you draft, because the draft is such a mystery.
Yeah.
And I think we're seeing teams starting to address their real hardcore needs in free agency instead of the draft, because it's instant help.
Although the truth is, a ton of free agent signings end up being bad moves for the teams.
Well, that may be the case, but
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, like, if you look at the moves that were made yesterday,
Yeah, a lot of DNs.
a lot of defensive
And
ends
and tackles.
and tackles.
Yeah.